Hello, hello. I'm a little late. The story of internet connection using a hotspot here today. So thanks for see it's 5 after. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Alex. This is Sun and Moon Yoga Studios YouTube portal. Let's take this time to cultivate that deeper knowledge of our presence that's always available here. It's really meaningful that we are together, maybe not in real time, but we are together intentionally, energetically, really, and even if we're separated geographically, we're on the planet together. Lately, I've been pointing out the pink thing back there is a Buddha bank I got at a White Elephant holiday party long ago. Um, and I asked have our little Grogu joining us today, and you see Max is here, dog is over here, you're out there. Um, we're here together. So, and it matters. It matters that we have each other's support. It matters that we know that we're on the same team. So today I've titled this episode, Details Matter. And by the way, if you're brand new to this, we'll be doing movement very little movement, energetic kind of practice from Donna Eden's work together at first for a little bit. Then we will be, that'll segue us right into a seated stillness and silence, which we often call meditation. You might need whatever props to help you sit comfortably. You could be lying down. You could be in seed pose on your side from the yoga world. You could be in legs up the wall. So do something that is comfortable for you. I also, I've shared this numerous times. One of my friends, yoga teaching friends, at a time when mm, her energy was just revving high, sort of like a blend of anxiety and unable to settle her nervous system. She would do her pretty long meditation. I think it was even 30 minutes. She would do standing. So you can do a standing meditation. The idea of stillness is important. I'll try to remember to get to that a little bit more today. Why that is, just before we get into that piece. Details matter. So our internet has been really wonky. Um, I had hoped to set everything up. I had the backup hotspot, which I'm using now, and then I forgot the detail of I haven't used the hotspot on this laptop, so I had to go get the password. So our own internet was working. This was a backup, but I forgot to get the password for the hotspot. So therefore, I'm late. That detail, it mattered. It rendered me late to this start time. No matter, we're here now. So details matter. Sometimes, often, it matters what the detail is. If you don't have the right house address, your neighbor may be getting your mail instead of you. If you don't have the zip code right, that can throw things off totally or delay your mail. Sometimes it is more useful to be more general, but that's two kinds of different things. Sometimes you need a general or fuzzy or big picture. What's an instance of that? I do believe that. Now I'm forgetting what an instance of that would be. Sometimes, partly, you just need the space, the time separated, sort of like I've talked about doing crosswords or Sudokus. When you step away from them, something in your mind, your brain puts it together without apart from that strong focus. So, and I'm sure there are other reasons where fuzzy is better. And perhaps it does have to do with just taking a time out from that intense focus. Another way details matter, and this enters into this inquiry part that I'm often including in our practice, that we're noticing things anyway when we practice yoga or tai chi. We're noticing what we're doing, and sometimes we're noticing how we might be distracted, or we notice how how we're judging or commenting on what we're experiencing. All of that is a way that we naturally hone in on details. But something that happens in our patterns, especially patterns that helped us stay safe for a long time or feel in control or feel authentic the best way we could, largely when we were younger, stick with us. Partly, especially those young years, because it was a way it tapped into that primal part of the brain that just keeps us feeling safe, that our basic needs are met, our needs for food, water, shelter, um, to be free from fear. That one has come up recently, um, and to have connection, to have human connection, because of the kind of animal we are, the mammal. We have a strong dependence and long term beginning of life bonding with our, especially with mother, but also father in some cases. I wanted to speak of mammals. Um, and so sometimes as we go through life, often actually, the pattern we have is more general. It's not the detail, it's a generalization and a or a or it's not the detail that it's not at the root of the need or the feeling and need that is present. And so that's my talk this morning on why getting still can help create the space and the theater for us to see what comes up and to be able to stay with it one even when it's difficult or it triggers us or it makes us it, it throws us into distraction that we want to get away from it in some way. It um, it helps us to see what's under there when we can really hold that inquiry spaciously. And I stumble here because I think it's with kindness, it's with a sort of compassion. Even if you hate the thing that's coming up, it's a part of us, maybe, or maybe you think it's a part of someone else or out there. But even when it's something that we wrestle with, we don't like, and accepting that, then accepting and welcoming in a safe way. So we can play this game of something comes up and say it's grief for me as one that comes up. And it's like, I don't want it. I don't want it to be here. And so there's a pattern of kind of sh- moving away from it in some way. So we can put it somewhere near us, can put it in a box close to us. It's there. We acknowledge it. And in a sense, we welcome it. But we don't have to do anything with it. We just need to get to know it, to get to see what it is, what the true detail of it is. So part of the practices we do include the body, and in this case, I'm going to do Donna Eden's 3 thumps today. And we start with, there's 3 of them, and for about 1 minute each, I'm going to use first sort of a beak, the fingertips together, points just under the collarbones, but a few inches out from the midline of your chest. And you can rub. Donna Eden often does this really forcefully. You can thump. I'm going to go a little more gently just because of where I am energetically. Also helpful to cross your hands, arms. This creates a different feel. Try to keep the arms relaxed. The crossing helps to kind of integrate left and right sides of the body. Breathing, sensing where we are on the ground, sensing the here-ness, presentness, being right here. And then let that go. Pause a moment. And the second one is in the middle of the breastbone. The breastbone is about from the middle of the collarbones to that point where the ribs meet, and that kind of a triangular, so the middle. And you can find it, I'll just use one hand, usually tender. Usually the spot is a little tender. And I believe in Chinese medicine, this is one of, if not the grief point. Breathing and just being present for how you're touching, how you're receiving the touch. More and more relaxing right here where we are. Relaxing the jaw. Maybe if you're going a circular motion like me, you can also be thumping. I did a reverse direction of my circle. And then relaxing your hands, arms. Might be a little more feel of presence together here. The next point is, I think it's a neurolymphatic point on the spleen, also kind of corresponding to the spleen meridian, if I'm not mistaken. And it's sort of on the side front of your ribs. And again, finding a tender spot is often helpful. And often I don't find the tender spot there, but a little more to the side. So I'm going to go with my tender spot, even though it's much more side than where Donna Eden often points because it's tender. So that's where I'm going to go for what feels like it needs it. Breathing, relaxing, and determining the intensity that feels right for you. Again, it can be sort of a thumping, or it can be, oh, that does feel tender. That's interesting. The thumping for me is different. So I'm going to go with that now. We can shift midstream. All right. And let it go and notice, just be receptive, be the receptivity, which is what our consciousness is. And beyond, previous to that, our awareness. And you might even feel the distinction of the objects we're conscious of, the body sensations, the maybe slightly more peaceful mind, maybe the distraction of any kind that you're sensing. And the sense of that aspect of ourself that is the awareness, which is never changes, no boundaries, infinite, timeless. So in the beginnings of this, when I say we're here to get present, this is the presence is actually, we're more here to become more and more familiar with that capital A awareness, or what I think it's Jackson Peterson, a teacher, names the absolute. Oh, it was another teacher. I'm forgetting the name. Anyhow. And you might feel that you are ready to slide right into sitting. I actually just gonna not disturb that sense I have, but I want to move back a little to my cushion, my knee prop. And we'll begin the meditation. About 8 minutes. You might check in with your breathing as you just refine any last minute adjustments to make the posture just right for you. And throughout the stillness, we check in with our posture and some just tiny, really the adjustments usually just all that's needed is the tiniest shift or settling or relaxation. And often when we could be something we just lose attention, so we might slump, we might if you're holding a mudra such as mine, you might find your fingers pressing too tightly or being too lax. So we find the middle way. And if sitting and you're looking for that easy uprightness where the shoulders are relaxed, the jaw is relaxed, the belly's relaxed, and the stillness. Stillness is very helpful. We might have been schooled to give ourselves permission to move so that we don't injure ourselves. Like, don't sit in a position that's hurting your knee and just sit through the pain. Not wise. But on the other hand, we can lean into the preference of um, not giving in to impulses to itch or shift, or in my case, often to turn to look at one of my animals, just to stay no matter what. If you get antsy, you can turn to the breath and follow 3 full breaths. If you get spacey, you might just open your eyes the tiniest bit, reaffirm where you're touching the ground. This form of meditation where we're just sitting, really, there's no As my teacher calls it, there's no candy to entice us, nothing to engage us, but just being. And yet, as needed, use a tool to come back, use a lure. A few more breaths together. And as we bow to close the practice, be aware what you're sensing. Just be open to what's coming, what details that shift moment to moment, especially in a transition where we've moved out of the stillness. A certain mind state we've been in, and now we know a transition's coming, and it might be just shifting. It might not be shifting your mind and energetic state, or just a little bit. You might feel this preference to stay with where you are. You might be feeling the pull of the next thing. And all these details that we see more clearly, more in high resolution, as we allow ourselves to kind of slow time, to be still, to be silent, to receive. There's there's often we're looking to resolve some issues in our life. And when we see the details of our emotion, of our memory, of our body sensation, of our patterns, we see those often. There's not anything we need to do with it. It sort of gets liberated by having been seen clearly, being acknowledged. And isn't that sort of like when you feel another person has really gets you, you get me? That's such a free and maybe validating or somehow combination of those feeling. And those aspects of ourselves that got twisted or tied or sublimated, or that's what they yearn for. And then we become lighter and lighter. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry about uh, the difficult start for those of you who might have tried to join me right at 10 Eastern Time. And thank you to everyone who joins me and our Sun and Moon Yoga community. Thanks for being here. Ciao, ciao. See you next time.